Hi, guys. No, that's awful.
Hi,
Try that again.
guys. You got to get the first one going.
Kristin, we are so excited to be here on Video Content Studio's very first podcast, Business Casual. And I wanted to just talk to you a little bit about your business. It's Kristin Massoletti,
Yep.
LLC.
Yep.
And tell me a little bit about what you do and why you do it.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you.
Mhm.
This is so official. How it started, I didn't have a whole business plan and like a whole brand and a strategy and this big idea or this big plan and a website, none of that. It was quite the opposite. It was pretty much everything that you're not supposed to do or that I thought you're not supposed to do. So I was working at a video production company, a really small team for a while. Loved them. They were like a family to me, still are. But then COVID hit and business got really scary every day. So just the uncertainty that the doors could close literally every single day was like, just like everybody was dealing with. And so I kind of had to get honest with myself about what was in my control and what isn't. What isn't was COVID, this big global catastrophe. But what was in my control was the amount of fear every day around work. So I can keep doing what I love with this team, with the fear that the doors could literally close and then I might not be able to pay my bills, or I could start a company and work for myself. And I have, my mom is an entrepreneur. And so and my sister is a small business person too. And so I have some familiarity around working for yourself, but no idea how to actually do it. And I'm still learning. I think everybody learns that. Obviously no business plan. I didn't even know what I was exactly going to do, just the things that I'm good at. It was kind of like college, honestly, when they're like, I was the same way in college of like, I don't know what I'm going to do and what I'm going to major in. And I just picked something I was good at. Spanish. That's what I got my degree in.
You did. That's
so
hilarious.
It just kind of goes to say like, you just, maybe that does make me cut out to be an entrepreneur actually. I don't know. But anyway, so I just started Kristin Massoletti LLC and started doing social media, things that I find really easy, that I don't want to take for granted, honestly, that people really want help with. And then this kind of freelance producer stuff, video production, and all of that is storytelling.
Right.
Is like sitting down with someone and having them tell their story in a compelling way. And that's all really social media is. It's just visual storytelling. Right. So I do those two things, and it's called Kristin Massoletti LLC.
I love it because it gives you, keeps the door open for so many other things that you might want to kind of dabble in a little bit. But we've worked together a little bit on producing, which you're amazing at. Just really love working with you in that capacity. And then now social media. Is that kind of your push right now? What's the focus right now?
Yeah. Social media pays the bills. And it just is like ongoing. It's really fun. A lot of Instagram and YouTube are two of my favorite platforms. And then Facebook and LinkedIn are great for more like news and bulletin worthy stuff. And it's cool. Where I'm at right now today is I'm really busy with a lot of these clients and I don't really have time. I still don't have a website. I still don't. I think the last time I updated or posted anything on my own social medias was like months ago.
Right.
So I am referral based at this time, but I actually forgot your question.
I forgot my question too. So we'll just keep going with that.
Yeah, let's do it.
No. Oh, I was talking about how social media management is kind of your main push right now. That's kind of what you're focusing in on.
Yes.
So do you enjoy that? I mean, doing that, managing? I mean, it's a lot of, I'm sure, on your phone, on your computer.
Yeah.
Is that a lot?
Yeah, there's, so I have actually from one of my best friends who owns her business. She's a graphic designer. Yes and no. So the only thing that keeps it going are people.
Right.
And it's just like any relationship. So there's like ebbs and flows. There's times when people are inspired, uninspired. Then you have life going on, or there's moods and just stuff, because it's ongoing with social media and with clients. So my best friend actually told me this around to plan your business. So this is kind of like free advice. I always love free advice. Is plan your business seasonally. So, and I just experienced this. So I'll be in business for 2 years, coming up on 2 years. So I'm very much in like startup mode. Every day is like, back to basics. It feels like every day.
Yeah.
But at the, so planning your business seasonally, meaning like from the holidays, from probably Halloween to Christmas, it's just like a weird time.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't want to get too detailed into like what to post and not to post, but like posting about holidays, nobody cares.
Right.
Like obviously.
Yeah.
It what matters is you and your story and your business and what's going on in your life. But that's a time where people kind of are pulling back, I think. It's really interesting. So they're pulling back. And then on the business side of things, it's also just really quiet. And I was like really trying to grind through that and like trying to get new clients or trying to work harder instead of listening to the seasonalness.
Right.
And that's what my friend said. Like she just takes off an entire quarter almost.
Oh, interesting.
And works on her own business. And I was like, that is brilliant.
It is.
Yes. Like take off a really quiet season, which is the holidays, honestly, for me, because come January, it's insane. And if I would have taken that time, I maybe could have gotten some of my website going or some of my own social, because now I have a line of clients, which is really ideal.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that is really great advice, because I think we do feel like if you do experience a slowdown at all in that fourth quarter, you feel, I think, especially as an entrepreneur, I have to keep going.
Exactly.
I have to get more. I have to sign more. I have to do more. And if
instead
we could
of just pausing,
right?
Yeah.
Take a cue from the seasonally. Winter is like, just slow down.
Yep. Reflective.
Take a little pause.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean that you can't work on your business. I don't necessarily think that that's the time to take full vacations, because really how much more ahead of the game can you get by working on your business while you're in that, but not stressed, right? So just enjoy the holidays and take a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that is one of the main challenges is when there is a moment of reprieve or quietness, or when like all your clients seem to be sleeping, to just keep your cool.
Yeah.
And maybe listen to that. Like, okay, maybe I should take some rest, or maybe it's time for me to reflect or take a step back, because you can't push if the client isn't pushing too. Like you have to push together and you have to walk together. If someone's sitting down, you can't drag them. And I think that's what I do.
Yeah.
I think that's what I've learned in the first year and a half was like this, like leading the way and kind of dragging it behind me instead of like, when you're ready to go, I'll come right there with you.
Yeah.
And listening to the seasons to do that.
So you went from having a paycheck then
Yeah.
to then creating your own. And so tell me, I mean, do you feel like you're handling that stress in stride, or how do you feel like that's going?
Oh, you should ask my accountant and my bookkeeper how they think that's going. It's going. It's and yeah, I feel like owning a business immediately shines a spotlight on your most glaring character defect, whatever that is. Prepare. It's like a fast track to growth, So for me, finances, making money has never been a problem. Keeping it is a problem.
Okay.
That's my thing.
Right.
So So whether I had a paycheck at like an 8 to 5 job or working for myself, that was never the obstacle. Like I'm always going to make money. I've always known that about myself. I can hustle. It's keeping it. And it's like, it's building a financial life for myself.
Yeah.
I bought, actually one of the main motivators for starting my business was because I wanted to buy a house.
Yeah.
And working 8 to 5, I couldn't, you're like limited, you know exactly how much you can make when and how long that's going to take. And it was going to take like 6 years. So I was like, all right, I got to get hustling. So that was one of the main motivators for starting a business, was like, I could make X amount of dollars in 2 months by doing this type of project work. Yeah. So that it was a very short-term, impulsive way to start a business, but I bought a house because of it. And then I sold that house, and now most of that money is gone. So the problem
was that
is
the trip
keeping
to
the money.
Iceland, or what is it? Is that you just went
lots
to
of trips. I went on a lot of trips. And I guess that's kind of a cool part about having a business is you can work harder, you can make more money. Yeah. And then if you have it figured out of like how to build wealth, let me know, because I'm like back to like, all right, let's grind and get more clients.
Yeah. No, that's fun. I mean, I do love that about what you said though, because the truth is there's some security in that 9 to 5, right? I know what I'm going to get each week. And I mean, everything that's always subjective, because security in what level? I mean, companies fold all the time or whatever, but you have some more sense of security in that 9 to 5, the regular paycheck. But your growth to build wealth is a lot longer, right? And so as an entrepreneur, you can see this space and say, okay, might take a greater risk, but sometimes there's greater reward in doing that as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it really is a personal growth thing. Like companies are great because you do have some certainty, or at least the illusion of certainty. Right. But not ever since COVID, not ever since pandemic and like the world that we're in now.
Yeah.
Any of the certainty that you think you have in a company is really just an illusion. It is just a mindset. Yes. It's a culture that you've subscribed to.
Right.
And I think that's gotten really exploited, that like none of that, all those promises aren't real.
Yeah.
I mean, at least that's most of my network and people who I talk to on a regular basis are like, oh yeah, that's all just a illusion. Working for yourself is, I mean, I think anybody can do it, but then not everybody does it. Yeah. So there must be, I don't know. I think for me, I don't think I could ever go back to working at a company again unless my life really changed and I needed, and my job was just going to be a job. Right. Instead of like a lifestyle thing. Like I love what I do, and I like that I can work for 1 hour and then take a bunch of time off and go to Iceland or work throughout the night and stay up until 2 or 3 a.m. because I love what I'm doing. Yeah. Like that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me about, just on a personal note, tell me about your trip to Iceland. You are the only person I know who loves the cold.
Yeah.
I do. Tell me, I mean, who goes to their birthday party in Iceland?
Yes, I did go to my birthday party there. It was a party for one. And I actually did my hair for this interview for this podcast today, but you should have seen it before. I've always felt like I was like a Viking or something in a past life. I'm almost certain of it. Like I'm dead serious.
Yes, I hear you.
Or I'm pretty sure I was a Viking in a past life. But yeah, Iceland has always called. It's like, you know, there's just some places where you're like, I'm going to go there. Yeah. I need to go there. Or it's like you've already been there. Yeah. You can't remember if it was a dream or not or real.
Yeah.
That's how Iceland is. And Blue Lagoon was my password. It isn't anymore. Okay. Blue Lagoon was my password for like 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was just somewhere I needed to go. And I went in the winter because I love the winter, and there was no one there. So Iceland has kind of become more of a destination because there's a direct flight from Denver.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, so you can go from Denver to Reykjavik direct. And yeah, flights are like $500, which is amazing.
Wow.
It's cheaper to fly to Iceland than it is to like LAX.
Oh,
To go to LA or New
no.
York. I know.
So did you go by yourself or did
Yeah.
you go with you did go by yourself?
Oh yeah, I went by myself.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it is funny.
That's
It
so
was
great.
weird. I had a definite freak out moment. And that's actually where I did have a lot of clarity around seasons
Yeah.
and my business and my life. Because winter is cold and dark,
Mm-hmm.
but there's actually a lot of productivity that happens when you are still.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we could get really philosophical right now,
That's
but
all
we
right.
don't have enough time for that.
I think that what you said, and I think that it does resonate with me. I don't know if I've shared this with you on some of our conversations that I know we will have conversations that are like, we're going to have a quick business meeting. And then
Yeah.
it turns into an hour of just all this
Yeah.
great conversation. But I do think that there is something that's so beautiful about recognizing seasons. And I
Yeah.
think typically, as a female, I think we experience, I tell as moon cycles, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we are experiencing those ebb and flows so much more. And then seasonally, we forget to appreciate
Yeah.
them, And so we are in tune more to our two cycles of
Oh, yeah.
life, but we forget that. So
Oh,
whether
yeah.
that's seasonally or business, it's just,
I love that.
yeah.
Thanks for bringing it up first. No, the Iceland thing, the seasonal stuff with business, when to drive and when to listen.
Yeah.
And listen, yeah. And like you can't always be in production,
Right.
and bringing it back to like the cycles or the moon phases or the female cycle, there is a time for driving,
Mm-hmm.
grinding, creating. And then there's a time for like when you are literally the wisdom keeper and
Yes.
everything is clear. But that's not a time to make any decisions or
Yes.
to make or do anything.
It's to listen.
Yes.
Yes.
And everything becomes like crystal clear of what you need to do.
Mhm.
The truth, like I feel like I know the truth of everything.
Mhm.
Like it's only for like 1 week and then and then it's gone.
Right.
Yeah, but a lot of that became clear in Iceland and just taking the break off and going there by myself. Another kind of fun thing was I still haven't looked at the photos from my like my nice camera yet.
Yeah.
I just the ones on my phone, but there was many nights that were super dark and the sky is actually lighter and more aglow because there's a million little water molecules like snow in the air that's reflecting all the light
Oh my
around it.
gosh.
So at nighttime, and we see that in Colorado, we see that everywhere,
Mhm.
that like there's actually in the winter more light at night. If you just look, the
Yeah.
sky does actually glow.
Yeah.
Different than in the summer, than in the spring and fall. And that to me, I was like, whoa, there's so much wisdom in winter.
Mm.
And moving forward, I will take this time for myself
Yeah.
and for my company and just to pause,
Yeah.
to reflect,
Mhm.
and then start the new year like with intention and clarity. But I think that's going to be really hard because the world is backwards. Like
Yeah.
we're the busiest in
Yes.
December and
Mhm.
during the holidays. It's
Mhm.
about being like really busy and going to parties and doing a lot of things.
Right. You have to be conscious about taking that moment
Yeah.
to pull back. I mean, again, I think that as we talked about cycles, I mean, I think sometimes even as female business owners, sometimes it's hard to say, I have to pull back for a minute.
Yeah.
And it's because we're always in a culture of go, go, go and keep working. And I think that we have to have that balance
Mhm.
of life and reflective and then let's push and
Yeah.
keep going. I was thinking, I was talking to my, sorry. I was talking to my father-in-law who is not an entrepreneur. You mentioned that everybody can be an entrepreneur. He cannot.
Yeah.
He is petrified of the whole idea. And so he's like, what's your plan B? What's your plan B? And Dwayne and I both feel like, I think to really be successful, I don't know that you can have a plan B.
Yeah.
I think you have to just, I'm all in and just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Omaha. We drove to Omaha over the holidays. This was mid-December. And normally Omaha is a quick 8-hour drive.
Mm-hmm.
No big deal. But this time there had been a huge snow the night before, and then there was major winds.
Mm-hmm.
So we were driving, and we had to turn around. There were road closures. There were whiteouts.
Yeah.
And my parents were driving as well. They were in front of us, and they said, well, you guys can turn back if you want to. You don't feel like you have to go. And Dwayne looked at me and he said, there is no way I'm allowing my 80-year-old father-in-law to make it there. And I'm not making it,
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that really kind of is an analogy, I think, in business when I'm going to make it to my destination.
Mm-hmm.
There might have to be twists and turns and adjustments and rethinking a plan, a strategy, but I'm going to make it to the destination.
Yeah.
Do you feel that way for yourself? Yeah.
I don't want to get to the destination because then it's done.
That's true.
Like, that's how I know I'm meant to do this because I'm not done yet. Like, as soon as I feel like I'm done, well, then like,
right, what's
lights
new?
out. See you later, everybody.
Well, maybe it's like the destination for that business. Then you sell it and move on to something else. Or...
that's a big opportunity of growth for me is like, it's back to the whole Kristin Massoletti LLC thing of what do you do? What do you offer? Like, what does your brand look like on a website? That to me, I'm like, oh, I don't want to choose and be like pigeonholed into that. I want it. That's what's great about video, honestly, is that's one of those things that can evolve and be changing all the time.
Right.
Is video. But like choosing a font, choosing a end destination, I mean, that's hard. That's really tough for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I bet once I do at least put some of that stuff to paper, I bet my finances will reflect that too. Do you know what I mean? Because I think I do live a little bit impulsively, but being a business owner allows me to do that.
Yeah.
Because I can kind of do what I want.
And that's okay.
It is okay.
Yeah.
It's great. I mean, I'm like, I should have done this sooner. I should have done this like right away. Like, why did I ever go and get a real job?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. There was something else I was going to ask you, and I was, you, now your partner is not, does he have his own business or does he have his own practice?
Yeah.
Okay, so as two entrepreneurs, how does that work for you guys? Have you noticed any challenges or?
God bless Drew. He's, we just talked about this the other day. We are polar opposites, completely contrasting minds. Like, I'm extremely extroverted and creative. Like, I'm kind of the salesperson and the, like, you fly by the seat of your pants. And I get a kick out of not knowing where we're going, but I'm going to like be really enthusiastic and everybody's on board with me.
Right.
And then it's like, don't tell anybody that I don't know. I don't know, but they're all for it and they're all following me. So that's my thing. He's super pragmatic. He has a plan, that like plan isn't even the word. He has like I don't know, the way his mind works. He's a doctor. So just super pragmatic, very thoughtful. He doesn't speak until it is tried and true and tested. Like, he'll never have to go back on anything he's ever said out loud.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
I have to, in order to know anything, I have to first say it and then go, whoa, let's back up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're completely opposite like that. And then it's the best. Like, I can push him a little bit closer to the edge and he can pull me back almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's excellent at the, like, the big financial planning and that kind of stuff with a business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what keeps you energized and kind of focused? Now, I know I saw on your Instagram, more tofu, please.
Oh, yeah.
That you have lots of animal pics there. Do you foster animals?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah. So I'm a foster mom for Rocky Mountain Feline Rescue.
Okay.
That's how I have my 2 little kitties now. We're foster fails is what it's called. And then the reason there's a lot of animals on my feed now is because I was actually testing how to grow an Instagram account rapidly.
Oh.
So I was like, well, I'm going to have to do it. Let me first make sure I can do it before I
Yeah.
offer this for other people.
Okay.
So I'm vegan, and vegan for the animals or ethical vegan. And these are all like hashtags and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And so I made my profile reflect that.
Mhm.
Like, I just looked at all the photos I have, which is a million different animals, and that's what I take pictures of. And I was like, all right, that's going on my feed. That's something I would offer to a client. Like,
Yeah.
who are you? What do you love?
Mm.
And by the way, it's not even about your business. This is like, it's all your personal brand.
Yes. Yeah.
So I was like, I need to figure this out for myself, make sure I can create and grow an account before I start selling and promising
Yeah.
that to other people.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I put a bunch of animal pictures and then started following a lot of other vegans, ethical vegans, and my
Mhm.
account like blew up.
Okay.
Overnight, it got to like 1,500 followers, which was a lot for me.
Right.
I had like 200 followers. And I was like, all right, we can do this. There's certain communities and
So do you think it was your hashtags or do you think it was your photos or what do you think it was that really
it was a
grew?
shared interest. It was like
Okay.
a shared type of person, like from an ethical vegan to an ethical vegan.
Right.
Like, I got your back.
Mhm.
Let's support each other. And when you find those niches
Mhm.
and communities of people, like, there really is that's a real thing.
So do you work with your clients then on that level, trying to find out what their passion is to,
Yeah.
you know?
Because then it has to come through on when you make videos and reels
Yeah.
and like, you got to make me feel something,
Right.
when you say or do something of who you are. And that's what's so fun is you could be talking about things you like, and
Mhm.
it actually has nothing to do with your business.
Yeah.
They can be the same thing, but it can also just be cats or
Right.
for me, like really good vegan food or
Mhm.
like I'm obsessed with hugging cows. Like, it's so
Oh.
specific, but like people get it.
Mm.
The right people get it. And they're
Mhm.
like, I'm going to follow you.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that more and more, do you see this, that we're not looking necessarily for the polished conversation.
Mhm.
We're looking for authenticity.
Relatable.
And yes, relatable. And I get you. There was something that you said that captured me, or like, I like what you stand for. I like what you said. I like what you believe in.
Mhm.
And I think that out of that, then people are interested to say, what is it that you do?
Mhm.
Do you think that I feel like that's
Totally.
what's happening, a shift.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why, like, the bio line at the top of your feed on any account is so important. And it's not your mission statement of your business. It's, I'm a boy mom and a cat lover and a plant-based this. It's all these personal things about you.
Oh, interesting. Even on your business account, you would
Mhm.
recommend that.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that idea of community are like-minded people supporting each other.
Right.
Oh, and by the way, I'm a social media strategist. Oh, and by the way, I have a XYZ company.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's fantastic because I think that we're all tired of, I shouldn't
Mhm.
speak for everybody. I just feel like I don't want to see everything that's always polished. I want to see the realness.
Yeah.
And that's just, I'm not polished. And so I want to see who people really are,
Yeah.
and why you do what you do and what keeps you going.
Mhm.
So I think that's
I think
great.
we're going to see more of that too, like on a global level of just nobodies, like, for lack of a better word, just like regular people
Yeah.
with incredible amount of views, an incredible audience of people watching them.
Mhm.
And they are just everyday people, like the power of that, like being relatable, and that's it.
I think that that's why, first, video's not going anywhere.
No.
And and getting in front of the camera and, posting and being vulnerable
Right.
is important.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
So tell me, just I think as we kind of wrap up, I want you to tell me what you're working on now,
Mhm.
what kind of need, goal, or vision you would like to share.
Oh no. The pressure. What I'm working on now, I am always, my big picture every day is my own story, my own website, my own vision, my own end goal.
Mm-hmm.
That is always what I'm working on. And I need help with that, yeah, what is it exactly in a really short way of what I offer? I mean, on the outside, it's social media, or like freelance video producer. But that's not who I am.
Right.
That's what I love to do. I love visual storytelling. It's really fun. But I'm still figuring out what that is for me. But what is my mission, vision that I want other people to know?
Yeah, that you'd like to share.
Oh, like my hopes and dreams?
Sure.
Or should I give like a political message to the world? No. I'm kidding.
If you feel so led.
Okay. What I would like everybody to know. Oh, I know. It's just an uplifting message really about mostly how powerful we really are. And I think a lot of people feel powerless right now, or that what's going on the news and in the world, and that what they have to offer doesn't matter. It does matter.
Yeah.
Getting real, getting authentic, and speaking your truth. And what you follow, what you consume is like your number one, like that's where all of our power lies. And so I always tell my clients that of like, we actually have the power to sway and move where we want things to go by what we consume, what you watch, what you look at, what you click. Otherwise, the world will decide for you.
I love that, Kristin.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. I really couldn't agree more. I think that's very, very powerful.
Yeah.
One thing that I've been trying to think about, I was telling Dwayne, we were coming into the office, and I said, there's sometimes we're driving and we get in such routines, right?
Yeah.
Of our daily life. And then it's like there's times you wake up and I look around and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
The universe has abundance. There's abundance everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Abundance in beauty everywhere. Abundance in finances. And like you said, it's what we're consuming. What am I filling my mind with that is either going to steer that direction?
Yeah.
And if I don't know, somebody else is going to tell me where I'm going to go, right? With what I'm consuming. So
that's how algorithms work.
I love it.
But there's like one factor of an algorithm, which is you making a choice before you even turn it on. And that's where all of our power lies. Like, okay, where do I want my business to go? Or what kind of people do I want to see it? I actually have control of that before I even get on my phone and before I even let the news feed, you know how you can just open it up and it's like, here's things you're going to like.
Yeah.
And most of the time it's pretty accurate.
Scary.
Yeah, it is. But then watch how those things change, especially as a social media manager when I get on everyone else's accounts. Watch how those things change when you make different choices of what you consume. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we do have the power to change the algorithms and to change how things go for our business and how the Facebook ads are running and are we making any money and that kind of stuff. But I think we all have to maybe work together more on that of like, what is the goal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it, Kristin. I always love having a conversation with you. Thank you so much for being our very first guest and working through my nerves and all of that. It is such a pleasure.
I hope you really edit this into something nice, or is it going to be start to finish?
I hope it's start to finish because I just want to see the realness of it.
I love it. Yeah, we should say be true to our word.
I know, right?
Of like being relatable and vulnerable.
Thank you guys so much.